Two teams, 0 points. One brutal truth. Lose this match and your World Cup is basically over. 5 days ago, Czechia led South Korea for 59 minutes, then collapsed in the final quarter of the game and lost it 2-1. On the same day, South Africa didn't just lose to Mexico. They were torn apart, finishing the match with 9 men on the pitch after 2 red cards in 20 second-half minutes. Now those two broken teams meet in Atlanta. No safety net, no margin for error. Whoever loses this one is staring at elimination before the group stage is even half done. This is Czechia versus South Africa, and somebody's tournament ends tonight. Welcome back to Football Kick Theory, the channel for tactical breakdowns that actually tell you something before kickoff, not after. Today we're inside Group A's most dangerous fixture, a genuine 4-point swing match between two sides who can't afford another slip. Mexico already leads the group. South Korea surged into second on a furious late comeback. That leaves Czechia and South Africa fighting from the bottom, and only one of them leaves Atlanta with hope intact. Let's break down exactly how this one gets decided. Start with Czechia. Their opener against South Korea had everything going right, until it didn't. Ladislav Krejci rose above the South Korean backline in the 59th minute and headed home Vladimir Coufal's trademark long throw-in, the kind of set-piece weapon Czechia built their entire qualification campaign around. 11 of their 22 goals on the road to this World Cup came from set plays. For an hour, the plan worked perfectly. Then it didn't. South Korea found gaps behind a tiring Czech backline, equalized, and snatched the winner with 8 minutes left. Manager Miroslav Kubek watched his side go from potential statement win to a result that puts them on the brink already. South Africa's story is darker. Against host nation Mexico, Bafana never got going. 0 big chances created, an expected goals reading of just 0.07 for the entire match. Then it turned chaotic. Spefelo Sitole was sent off for a last-man foul. Themba Zwane followed him minutes later for a reckless slap on a Mexican forward. South Africa finished the night with 9 players, lost 2-0, and now walk into this match without both suspended midfielders. 2 teams limping in, one match that decides who still has a pulse. Czechia's whole identity is built around control through structure. Kubek lines them up in a 3-4-2-1, leaning on physical center backs, disciplined wing backs, and that long throw weapon from Coufal that functions almost like a corner kick from 20 yards out. Krejci isn't just scoring goals. He's progressing the ball forward on nearly 3 out of every 4 passes he attempts, which tells you how much of Czechia's structure runs directly through him. The problem is what happens after the 70th minute. Czechia haven't kept a clean sheet in 5 straight matches. They built a perfect platform against South Korea and still couldn't hold it. If tonight becomes a war of attrition, that's the exact scenario that's burned them before. South Africa, meanwhile, are working with half a team plan. Hugo Bruce wanted his side to control the ball against Mexico and got overrun instead. Now, missing 2 suspended starters, everything funnels through one man, Teboho Mokoena in central midfield. If Mokoena dictates tempo and finds Oswin Apollos, South Africa's most productive player in qualifying, directly involved in more goals than anyone else on the roster, there's a route back into this tournament. If Mokoena gets smothered the way South Africa's midfield got smothered against Mexico, their attack simply doesn't exist. Quick favor before we go further. If breakdowns like this are useful to you, hit subscribe on Football Kick Theory right now. We're covering every twist in Group A all the way through to the knockout stage, and you don't want to miss what happens next in this group. For Czechia, everything starts with Krejci, captain, set-piece weapon, and the most reliable defender on the pitch in the same 90 minutes. Coufal's long throws remain the single most dangerous set piece in this tournament's group stage so far. Up front, Patrick Schick is still hunting his first goal of the World Cup, and Kubek may pair him with Tomasz Chori to give South Africa's makeshift backline 2 problems to track instead of 1. For South Africa, it's Mokoena or nothing in midfield, with Apollos as the player most likely to turn a half chance into something real. Goalkeeper Ronwen Williams already proved his quality with a sharp first-half save against Mexico. He'll need several more of those tonight if his backline is going to hold against Czechia's aerial pressure. The deciding duel is obvious. Coufal and Krejci's long throw routine against a South African back 5 forced into makeshift shape by suspensions. Every set piece, every throw-in near the box becomes a genuine goal threat. The second battle is in central midfield. Tomáš Souček and Alexander Sojka give Czechia a disciplined double pivot built to shut down exactly the kind of central buildup Mokoena needs to thrive. If they win that fight, South Africa's attack never gets out of its own half. The third factor is fatigue and discipline. South Africa are down 2 bodies and playing must-win football against a deeper squad. If tempers rise the way they did against Mexico, this match could turn on a card just as easily as a goal. The lineups that matter. Expect Kobek to stick almost entirely with what started against South Korea. Jindřich Kovar stays in goal behind a back three of Chalupek, Hranek, and Krejci. Yes, Krejci plays both center back and the team's biggest attacking outlet, which tells you how much trust Kobek puts in him. Coufal and Jaroslav Zeleny occupy the wingback spots. Souček and Sojka anchor the middle, and Lukáš Provod plus Pavel Schultz operate just behind Schick. The only real question mark is whether Chori starts alongside Schick to overload a South African defense that's about to look very different from the one that started in Mexico City. Bruce has no such luxury. With Sithole and Zwane suspended, his backline has to be rebuilt on the fly. Mudau, Sibisi, Okan, Mbokazi, and Modiba across a back five, with Mokoena, Mbatha, and Adams trying to control the middle three against a Czech midfield that's already shown it can grind a game down. Up top, Reyners and Foster get the responsibility of giving Williams something to play for at the other end. On paper, this isn't just a tactical mismatch. It's a squad depth mismatch forced by discipline problems from match 1. That's exactly why this game is harder to call than the form table suggests. History and the narrative everyone gets wrong. Here's something most previews are skipping. These two nations have only met once in history, a 2-2 draw at the 1997 Confederations Cup in Riyadh, almost 3 decades ago. There's no real psychological pattern here, no recent grudge match to lean on. And here's the twist that flips the usual storyline. South Africa's only previous World Cup win over European opposition didn't fail to happen. It already happened, 16 years ago, when Bafana Bafana beat France 2-1 as tournament hosts in 2010. So this isn't a team with zero history of beating European sides on the biggest stage. It's a team that hasn't done it in 16 years, missing 2 starters and needing it more than ever. Prediction. Statistically, this leans toward Czechia. Their structure, set-piece threat, and squad depth give them the platform. But their last quarter collapses are a real and recent pattern, not a one-off. Predicted score: Czechia 2, South Africa 1. Krejci and Coufal combine again for the opener. Schick or Chori add a second, and South Africa claw one back late through a Polies to make the final minutes nervy, but not nervy enough to flip the result. 3 things decide this match. Can Czechia's backline survive past the 70th minute for the first time in 5 games? Can Mokoena run a midfield with 2 fewer options than he had against Mexico? And does this game stay tactical, or does it turn physical and chaotic the way South Africa's opener did? Win this, and either side keeps a real path toward the knockout rounds. Lose it, and the World Cup is effectively finished with 2 group games still to play. Drop your prediction in the comments right now. Who finds their first points of this World Cup tonight? And if you want every Group A breakdown before the next ball is kicked, make sure you're subscribed to Football Kick Theory and you've got notifications turned on. We're not missing a single moment of this tournament. Football Kick Theory. We don't just watch the World Cup, we break it down before it happens.